Just a second, just a second. Hello to you and hello to you. And my name is Julia and I could be your erotic photographer. But today we are going to speak about people's sexualities and how to bring that side out. And I am talking with a lovely, sexy, gorgeous Aisha, which I don't know anything about. And today we are going to introduce ourselves at the start, at the beginning. And the first thing I can tell you is that I met her a week ago, and she called me on the phone with a very, very specific project, with a very specific topic. And this is something was related to what I do. That's why I get interested in this. You know, I am an erotic photographer and I create contemporary sexual art for singles and couples, right? How you can create this art, you need to create a sexual situation, otherwise it will be staged, and otherwise it will not do not have any energy, right? So when you're cooking the egg, you need to break the shell. Yeah, I don't see the other choice. No, there is not possible, right? So that's what we're doing here in the studio. In my studio, we're creating sexual energy with couples, with singles, with models. We're using models because some people are so much blocked that they need some stimulation from the side. So this is me who is doing this, and she suggested to bring her client. She has a client who has some sexual issues as well with him, and she's developing this how to say, in her way. Okay, so I am a photographer. I just told you what I do, and now I am going to give my screen. No, not I'm gonna share. I'm sharing the screen, but give the word to Aisha, and she will tell who she is, because I have no clue what she's doing.
Julia, thank you so much. And I guess the quickest way of describing what I do is that I'm a hands-on sex coach. So people come to me to discover their sexuality, to overcome their sexual blocks, but also to really understand their body. You know, there's a fundamental flaw with trying to learn about sex through a book, through words. That's an abstract concept when we're talking about experiences inside of the body. And the fact that we all do have slightly different bodies. And, you know, one person's G spot may be in one place and another person's in another place. And so it's really important, actually, that when we teach about sex, when we work through sexual issues, that we can be in our body. Very similarly, the way that you don't stage a sexy photo, you have them come into their sexuality. I don't talk about my clients' sexual issues with them. We go into sexual scenarios and we allow what the body's doing to be what the body's doing and to work from there. It's just much simpler. It's much more fun and much more powerful. And I think actually it takes away this idea of like our sexuality being something that we have to keep closed in a box, separate from the rest of who we are and separate from, you know, civilized, respectable conversation. And we actually bring it and we put it in the center of the room, in the center of the session. And from there, magic happens. And I'm sure magic happens in your photo shoots as well, doesn't it?
All the time.
All the time. Yeah.
I never had a successful shoot. Never.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so what was happening when I called you was in my client sessions, I have a menu. So I have, you know, someone can come and say, I want to do genital mapping. I want to do an erotic meditation. I want to discover my anus and the pleasure there. They can ask, I want to have a breast massage. They can have all sorts of things. But I also say, if there's something that you want that's not on the list, please ask for it. Whatever it is, you can't offend me. Bring your desire. Find the words for it. Let's look into it. What is it? And so one of my clients said, we've been working together for about 4 months, really great, juicy sessions about, you know, really allowing them to have full expression, full permission to be their sexual self and to work through their shame around it. And they said, look, I want to have a photo shoot. I want to be photographed naked in my sexuality. And it was just a really little sort of thought that they had, you know, and I said, let's do it. Let's do this. And I said, obviously I'm not a photographer, so let me go and try and find someone. And then they emailed me, well, about a week later saying, actually, no, I would just feel comfortable with you. And I said, okay, that's fine. We can do that too, because they're private, da da da. So I was looking everywhere for a sexy studio where, because I don't know how to do lighting, where I would also have a photographer that could direct me so that I could take these pictures of my client. And I found your website. And your website was very different from all the other boudoir and doudoir because it was so directly sexual. You had fantastic photos with cum shots, with the cum in what's that called? Where it's you can see everything. It's very detailed. Anyway, I saw this and I thought, okay, I'm gonna call Julia. And so I called you and you said, what are you talking about? This is the strangest request. I don't understand. And we went through it and we found a way. And I'm so deeply appreciative for that. But I was incredibly surprised by how much fun it was for both me and my client. Like it was, having done that work on themselves, feeling so sexually confident, feeling so powerful, they actually got even more. They thought they were done with the journey, but in the photo shoot, they got even more. They really got more deeply inside their erotic persona because they could see themselves. And you said that to me on the phone. You said, Aisha, you need to record your sessions. The clients need to be able to see themselves. And I didn't quite get that until I had done the photo shoot. And I was like, and I could see how big his smile on his face was, and that he really got like an extra like trophy,
Yeah, yeah. You said how big was the smile on his face, and this sounded to me differently because I'm very sexually wired. It's like how big is his cock, and then the smile on his face. You just cropped it out, and I know that for some, it's not allowed to use any adult words, but I don't, I'm not afraid to say what it is, because it's a part of your body. Excuse me, and nothing to be ashamed about. That's how you was born, and you cannot change that unless you want to change your gender and whatever. Let me just quickly switch back to my thing. So the problem with every client which I've seen in my studio, and she said that this is an amazing experience. The thing is that the experience itself can push and can stimulate people to go further than they actually think they can. Okay. And if you are with the right person, like she is the one who he trusts. Okay. So for him, clearly it was very important. The trust and privacy and intimacy was going around that subject. Okay. And that is slightly different what I do not give attachment to. So how I would specify me and her. So basically, she is taking a very much vulnerable people who are absolutely scared and terrified to be by themselves and doing it by themselves. They need a mommy or someone to hold on to, a handle where they can feel safe. Okay. And she is that handle. I know about this, okay, and I do not want to create my sessions around the handle because they would still look for the partner or for someone being that handle for them. Okay. And that is fine. Some people actually need that partner to be a mommy, need that partner to be a leader, need that partner to be in that position, and they would not change because of who they are. Okay. My sessions are more, how to say, more egoistic, maybe I would say. It's his side and this is my side. My side, what it does is provokes people and pushes their limits, and pushes their limits to the point there where I am talking to them, I'm talking to them in an absolutely no censorized manner. Okay. And if I can do this, and if I can speak this way, and if I experienced so many things this way, they will sit and think, fuck, let's do this. Like I am challenging them. That's my whole perspective of things. Okay. Because The reality is that the block is only in their head. Always. There is nowhere else. Okay. And the reason why I know this because I had my ex who was absolutely blocked. Okay.
Mm.
And people who do not have a good erection, they think that this is something with them. Okay, that this is something, not working with them. Some screws are missing in their bodies, and but actually some screws are missing in their heads. Okay, and the reason why I'm saying this is I recently shot the couple. The guy very active. He is a macho. He can do sex all the time and stuff. And this, I can see her being basically, I can do whatever you want, but she doesn't want.
Mm.
Okay, and the reason she doesn't want is because he does not create that passion and that spark
Mm.
in her.
Mm.
Okay, so she's not a machine. Okay, and sometimes we treat people like machine. We are. Okay, I'm not disputing that. We are biggest lab ever. We can create the hormones and all the stimulations and everything. The highest highs coming from there. Okay, and the best sex will reproduce and produce all these kind of drug effects which we are getting if you try the real drugs. Okay, so our body is able to produce that. The thing is that we are in this fucking machine and we don't know where to drive it
Mm.
and how to drive it. Okay, and in general, what's happening with those guys who are losing, you know, uh, when I'm saying I never had a successful shoot, I can tell you this, that I am specifying my clients. The one who are like your type of clients, I always take the model in because they need a hand to hold to. And I am not that hand. And you can see I'm that kind of a person. I am more like, you know, like that.
Wow. So what is the model doing?
So the model, different type of models providing different type of services. Okay, but usually I would suggest or a tantric model depending on what they are into, a sexual or into a fetish side.
Mm.
Okay, there is how to say, there is directions in there, so the tantric model will be like a geisha around him. Okay,
Mm.
so la la la, it will give everything to him. He will have those touches because what he needs someone to hold on to. He needs someone. I am on the other side of the lens. I can't be in front of the camera with him holding that fucking hand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he knows that, and I'm very honest with every people. If you need that type of service and if you feel that you can't be alone on the stage,
Mm.
okay, and you think that you are not gonna make it, book the model because she will do everything for you. She will help you and you gonna make it. Okay,
Mm.
if you think that you don't need anyone, I'm fine. I just want to test it. I just want to challenge this. Okay, come and let's do this, right? But I had one client who wanted to do this, very brave. He had like position and money. It's like, I want a VIP session. I want to tell you what to do. I'm like, okay. For me, you are like a simple basic package.
Sure.
Seriously. I said to him, no. I think I'll charge you basic. But what happened was he took 1 hour. He
Mm.
took 1 hour. That scare inside his head was like, you know what? I need to answer the emails. He bring the computer in my studio. I was like, okay. He's like, can you help me with this? I need to send the salaries right now. I said, do you not have an assistant? Like a secretary? He says, I have two. I said, so why I'm doing here telling you which name is which salary and we're doing this together in my studio. Can you imagine?
Mm. Wow.
Like I am charging per hour, and he just decided to do an emails for the first hour in my
Wow.
studio. Okay. So I understand it, that he was so freaked. So he came in and
Mm.
he saw my studio and he understand that this is not a joke. That
Mm.
everything is so, he's like, oh, I'm like in a different world. I said yes. And I showed him the studio. I showed all the lights. I showed all these, handcuffs and stuff. Just I'm suggesting you can use anything or you can use none, but I am like that to show around. And he suddenly needed to answer his emails.
Yeah. Well, that's fascinating, because he brought his world into your world. And that probably helped him to integrate and to regulate his nervous system through the experience.
So I'm saying even the macho match is with
Mm,
the mask on, hiding, and you would not recognize. He called me on the phone. He was very confident. He was very
mm,
strong about, everything. And
mm,
then he, crumbled.
mm,
Crumbled. And I'm sitting in this next to him like his secretary. And I thought, that's fine, But the thing is that I realized that I'm doing this psychological work with him right now,
yeah.
not like answering the emails and stuff. And he was like, no, no, don't you, I don't want you to think this way, and stuff. This, I'm like, no, I'm not thinking anything, and I still charge him basic, although after the shoot with everything this, I realized why he's a VIP. He needed an extra of everything and stuff. But this is the thing,
Mm,
for me, it's not about the money,
mm,
for me, it's about to understand the person's blocks and understand the person's fears and insecurities,
yeah.
because very often all of this comes not only in a like sexual way, and this is so important.
Mm,
Make someone happy to please someone and
mm,
make yourself happy. You know,
mm, yeah.
just now I can tell you there is always guys who text me on Facebook, okay? And the way they say is none of them would ask me what I want, you know?
Mm,
Oh, they say, I want the lady like you.
mm,
Okay, I want this. No
mm.
one, and I am realizing this that we need to change their understanding, the perspective about the things. The way you spoke about the lady and G spots and stuff, the men do not know any information about it.
Right. They don't. It's true. And actually, one of the things that I'm also doing is having a surrogate woman come into the session because clients don't touch me. It's one of my ethical boundaries. Well, not sexually anyway. We might hug, we might hold hands in the session, but we don't do anything sexual. Anyway, so I have a woman who comes in and the men learn on her body and they don't make love to her, but they will learn how to touch her vulva, learn how to touch her breast, learn how to undress her, learn how to ask her what she wants, learn how to ask what they want to do for what they want to do to her. And that is huge. That is such a shift. And actually, I think a lot of men think, I need to perform, I need to perform, I need to have a big hard cock. And actually, also, what they need is to know how to serve, know how to be in service of a woman, not just how to take and how to do things to a woman, but how can I pleasure the woman? How does she want me to pleasure her? How can I bring her joy right now?
So that's why I have those models, because they can test and see for themselves how confident they are, how their touch looks like, because that's what they're doing to that model, right? Touching everywhere. It's
Mm,
been recorded, and that's an information and data
wow.
for him to understand and see. Because
Wow.
at that moment, when she's like that and he's doing something, he knows where he's not matching her. When
Wow.
he is missing, he is
Wow.
actually seeing this. It's not like, because very often you being in this moment and there is no way to come back to it and analyze this, okay,
Yeah.
and understand what actually happened. And when you take the face as well picture, the hands and body, people can realize this situation. For example, I do not take many clients for that same reason. They just care about themselves, what model to do to them, and they are giving me a whole, porn when they see in the porn, industry website. Yes. And then they say, okay, we would like to book a model. And at my studio, of course, you can try sexual services because this is what it's about. Okay. Yes, you can, not like just, how to say, stand in front of each other, it's just kind of this. Now you undress, you touch body to body, you be on her, he be on you, something like
Mm,
that. And of course, there will be sexual things going on. He will touch her there, she will touch him there, right?
mm,
And things, and that is all sexual. But
mm,
believe me, they coming forward with the fucking list. what that model should do. And I'm thinking, in this 1 hour, 20 hours, if she will jump and do all those position and do everything with, it's just, are you serious?
Mm.
You know? And
Mm.
that's where I realized I'm coming back to them and I'm saying, first of all, the model is personality. The second of all, the model has character. How can I guarantee she fans you so much that she will do everything this? This is not up to me. This is not me on you doing this, you know? This
Yeah.
is not me touching you.
So sex is any interaction that we have with another person is a collaboration, right? It's two people cooperating, two people
Exactly.
creating, and not just one person saying, this is what I want to happen. No, it's two people, two nervous systems, two bodies, two erogenous zones, two pairs of genitals, and they both need to be on board. And but I also think this way that men can be like, hey, this is what I want to happen, this is my list. It's childlike. Not in I'm not criticizing. It comes from that. For me, my sexuality is childlike too. It comes from a place that hasn't had a lot of development, that is really strongly led by desires. And it's just like, hey, can I have this? Please, can I? Like, if I raise my hand up and if I'm really enthusiastic and if I tell you again and again and again, I want this, I want this, I want this, then it will happen. And actually, we have to slow down and we have to, it's one of the first things that I actually do with clients. We do an I want list. What do you want to happen? What do you want to experience? How do you want your sexuality to feel? How do you want to be with your body? And when we drop down into out of the mind, because the mind has certain I wants, and those tend to be quite explicit and predictable. I want a threesome, right? I want a bigger cock. I want a really hard cock. I want to be erect whenever I want to be erect. I want to learn how to pleasure a woman for hours, blah, blah, blah. When we drop into the body, so when we drop out of looking good and we really feel, then they come to, I want more connection. I want to be touched. I want my cock to be accepted. And there's a totally different quality to what they're asking for. And suddenly you can hear the other person, I want to be touched. What they're asking for is someone who wants to touch them. It's a very, very different thing. And sometimes we have to slow down. And the one thing that I can imagine with photography, and you said it's like a very much more of an ego place than my sessions. And with the ego, it's about performing. It's about looking good. It's about being on the stage and being, I'm a king on the stage. And I think that plays out a certain part of ourselves, but it's not the most sensitive or attuned part. And so then there is this big disconnect between our eros, which is very, very childlike and very innocent and very pure, and the performative sexual narrative that we have that's really well known in society today. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you one thing, okay, about today's conversation, right? That probably we can bring this into a light, okay, what it is actually is, because I just told you, no one booked a photo shoot with the model in so many years and told me this: I want to have a gorgeous model to please her and make her happy. No one. None of the fucking guy told me in more than 10 years. Okay? They want all to get for themselves, and they have no balls to go and do to pull that model. So what they want is they want me to arrange this, and then what they're trying to do is they will trying to buy Rolls Royce for the price of Mini. Because when they bring all of these desires, like you say, child and ego and stuff, and then I need to make it happen, I'm just thinking, fuck, I don't want these people in my studio. They should go and find for themselves, these situations, because it's disrespect. I mean, it's not like it's not, people who want actually to find out about themselves, they do not have this list. That's
Right.
how I recognize those people, because they are so
Right.
confused that they don't know which thing which they want is first on the list, so they be quiet.
Yeah. 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 There is also a myth. There's a cultural myth about women that is from men and that men believe and that women have started to believe too. And that is, well, there are a few myths. One of the myths is that women must defer to men. So a man will decide what happens. A man will choose where you go to eat or what you eat or when to have sex or how to have sex. There is this myth. And women play into the myth by going to men, asking them, or being just completely submissive in bed. And actually, that is a problem because then men are like, I'm going to show you that I know what I want. And that's going to be attractive. And I'm telling you what I want because you're you're going to come along and be submissive and let that happen. And that's sort of one of the myths that we play out. And another myth is this myth that women are there in service of men. Women have these special healing powers, these special sexual healing powers, and that they are there to give those healing powers in service of men. So again, when a man's saying like, I want to have my cock deep in the throat of a woman, he's actually really asking for that total, like the woman to totally give of herself to his cock and to reap from that healing power, from that special quality of motherliness, of care, of nurturance that only a woman can offer. And those two myths together create this situation where men are just, there with their wants, what they want. And you also have the woman playing into that. You don't, Julia, but women on the whole do. Women saying, yeah, I hear it a lot from men. I'm asking my partner what her kinks are. I'm asking what she wants to do. And she's coy about it. She doesn't want to tell me, or she's embarrassed, or etc. etc. So if we want men to ask, what do we want? We need to start telling them, and we need to start pointing that out, right? And we need to know what we want as well, because a lot of women haven't asked themselves that question of, what do I want sexually? There's this dating app called Field, Feeld, and it's all about kinks. And I'm on there. And a lot of,
I'm not.
yeah,
Thank you for a tip. Maybe I should go.
really. And it's great because it's sex positive. So people are talking about sex. And I asked the men, what are the women's profiles saying? And the women won't talk about their desires even on there. Like, I have my desires there, right?
Yeah,
I
okay.
have the things that I want. And I am 1 in 1,000. So we
Yeah.
have to start saying what we want. We need to let the men know there is a second person with preferences. There's a second person who has desires. Women aren't just there in service of men. Women aren't just there to give themselves to what you want. No, we are like a separate human being with separate will and separate ego and separate needs. And, so there has to be that part too.
No, it not just has to be, it must, because otherwise they cannot complete that mission. The thing
Yes.
is, I
Yeah.
wanna just I just wanna tell you one thing. There was one guy, and it's not only him, but when I'm shooting erections and I'm shooting, how to say, nude guys pictures, right? For that purpose, to make them feel, powerful and stuff,
Hmm.
able to perform, in the strange situation, in the strange, environment, in front of the stranger. This is all goes down to that power, anywhere, anyhow, in any circumstances, have that erection. Not everyone can do this. But majority of them would ask, does the woman wants a large cock?
Hmm.
Like every man nearly would ask me the same question, what I would answer, okay?
Mm.
And I know the answer to this question, and so I say to them this, that none of the women doesn't know the depth of her vagina. But how she can recognize it by looking at you, okay, and knowing will you match or not. She knows it subconsciously, okay,
Wow.
because every man has a different stimulation towards her and releases the different hormone, and those hormones constrict or dilute whatever will happen. But different people have a different sex, okay,
Totally.
with a different personality. So that's why it is very hard to understand the situation.
Mm.
And G spots, of course, playing a different part in terms of satisfaction, okay, and stuff.
Mm.
But those things are more deep than they can fucking imagine. They think that this is the size what matters, and I don't know who said that. Although I have one model and she really fancied the guy, and she really fancied the guy. She recently invited me for her birthday, and I never forget. She's going down the road. We went together for a lunch, and she's telling about this guy. He was amazing to her, like looking after her and buying her presents, and she's like perfect boyfriend material, and she will stay with him. But she was always saying, his cock is not touching my side, it's like good size, stuff, but it's not thick enough,
Mm.
and she mentioned this maybe 20 times, during that walk. Okay, and I and I realized that this guy do not stimulate the certain points to her, if everything is fine and she's happy and stuff,
Mm.
not touching the sides. So
Mm.
such a good guy, but not touching the sides.
Wow.
And I was just thinking, it's not only women or only men who having their issues. We all have these issues, and communication and sexuality and markers and
Mm.
understanding of all these things in a how to say, in a profound manner. It's so
Mm.
much important, because otherwise you would not experience this,
Yeah.
when you go.
Yeah.
So when you was a child, you just developed yourself. Then when you was a teenager, you was not allowed to touch yourself, to look at yourself, or whatever to do. No matter where you grown up,
Mm.
there was no nude body which you can look at. Everything was covered, hide, and you grow up ashamed and embarrassed of the things what are intimate.
Well, it really starts when we're in infancy. Well, first of all, we masturbate when we're in the womb. They've proven that now. We touch our genitals to create pleasure in the womb. And then we come out. And as children, we start exploring our body. We're like, oh, what is this between my legs? And our parents say, don't do that. Aisha, don't do that. Don't touch yourself there. You bad girl, don't do that. Or stop touching your
Yeah,
willy. And
yeah,
so suddenly we get embarrassed. Why is the person who we have our main attachment to, who cares for us, who we have our closest bond with, doesn't like us touching our genitals? So if we masturbate, I masturbated as a child in private, like secret. In fact, I didn't even touch myself. I used to put a little teddy in between my legs and like move. And I thought it was great. And then when someone came in, I would stop doing it, but my hands were nowhere near my genitals. So I felt well. And then we grow up, and you're right. Then there's shame. For me at school, we didn't talk about masturbation. We didn't talk about pleasure. We didn't, if we would might talk about how far we went with the guy, but we didn't know anything about our vagina or our vulvas. We didn't know about our clitoris or anything like this. We just knew that we let something happen or we didn't. And we definitely didn't be like, oh, I want to have this experience. I want to have this experience with a guy. And so then we finally are in a situation with someone who we want to have sex with, and we're adults now. And we have no basis of education for having a good experience with them. And we probably feel a lot of shame, but deep shame. Like we have implicit memory. So before we're 18 months old, we don't even have the structures in our brain to create long-term memory. So everything we experience is enclosed in our subconscious, and is the framework, the fabric through which we interpret all of our realities. So some people, they can't even remember that they had a bad experience with their genitals or that they had shame from their parents, but it's there through which they experience the emotions, the shame, the guilt, the self insecurity, the lack of constant confidence, the anxiety in their body. That somatically through their body is how they know that they have bad connotations that they need to work through. That's how I see it.
Well, let me just tell you the last thing
Mm.
about the couples, okay? Because
Mm.
you're clearly working with the single people and stuff.
Yeah,
I
mostly.
work also with the couples.
Mm.
So I can tell you this, but there are couples who are rocking it. Okay, and not in terms of rocking that they having a great time of their life, the greatest time, but they know, okay, how, and that is a good thing.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of couples who just don't.
Mm.
You know, they have children together and they have raised, you know, them, and they, it's like a baby experience, you know. They do not let themselves go.
Mm.
They love each other and stuff, but this is so childish. And how to say, sometimes I'm thinking that's like a very naive basic sex. Are you serious, you know?
Mm.
And I realized that this is what they've learned and they want to progress and they want to do something more. But to watch of the porn is not something what they want if they're happy with each other, you know? It's like a form of cheating or something, right? So they come to the photo shoot to stimulate, okay, and to experience this. And I am the one who is trying to bring some kind of like a role play, you know, just kind of bring them out of this. It's not like a boring reality, but for me, sex is endless pleasure where you can just try new things and find new sensations, you know, and that's how it should be, you know? It is not like 2, 3 minutes, 5, 10 minutes. It's not even minutes. I don't want to even give to that time. I don't want to frame it any time frame, okay? Because time should melt and time should disappear, and you should be counting just orgasms. That's how you should see the sex. Okay. But when they text me this and they say, oh, my husband lost just 3, 5 minutes, I'm not satisfied. I'm like, fuck, seriously? Why you cannot talk to him? And you know what? They can't. They can't because people are limited in their heads, in their actions, in their beds, in every way. And they create families and they create relationship and then they looking someone else looking the way to get out. So I can tell you this, that these limited people make limited connections and they're happy in their limited life, and I'm here to show them that there is a fucking other level to this, that this is like a game, you know. My son played this Gata Vice City and I said, where you gonna finish? He says, mom, I'm on the other level. In an hour coming, when you gonna finish? I'm on the number level. The fuck, how many levels are there? When you gonna finish this game? You know? And then I realized this is Gatava City game, no? You just level after level. There is so many levels you don't know. Lose the count. Okay, and that's what couples do not know. They do
Yes.
not know that this is that game they need to play.
Yes.
This is not that old game to push all the buttons and to push all the points. Do you know how many G points are in there? That you can stimulate the same woman in a different situation, in a different angle, in a different way, and everything will happen differently. You can, you know, strap her, band her, you know, you can put her in a different, how to say, thing, and it will happen for her differently. And they need to try this. And what they do is they go to bed and they, you know, and they have usual things. And that my studio is there to open their eyes. I don't know. I'm not saying to open their vaginas and stuff. No, this is their choice what they want to do. If they want just, you know, to play safe, is up to them. I'm not here, you know, to live their life, but I'm here to offer the option and clarify this, that this is Gatava City game. There is no, you can't finish it. You can't finish this fucking game. You need to play till you die. Because what happens is they they come to certain level with that person and they think that this is it, that this is nowhere else, that this is the game they tired to play, they're playing this game all the time, and I have people, couples, and the guy would come to me and he says, every day I see her, every day is the same, it's boring. I'm looking at her, we did the makeup, I'm looking at her and thinking, fuck, she's so beautiful, you know she's so beautiful. And he took her clearly as a young woman. Her breasts are never seen the child. She never gave birth for him. She dedicated the whole life to him, right? Jumping around him. And now he is in the studio while she's getting a makeup saying me that actually he's bored of her. Maybe we should book her a model, a male model with the big cock. Maybe he can change her so she can entertain him again and stimulate him.
Wow.
Okay. So on this note, on this note, I think you should just say something and we should just let people go because look, sexuality is endless thing and we are talking about 41 minutes already. So I'll just want to ask you one thing. Okay, can you quickly just provide with the benefit, with the benefit of the session?
The photography session that I did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The benefits were being able to, for the client to be able to see their body in a fresh way, outside of their mental obstacles, but just to see it in the light, in a beautiful, free sexual expression. To have all that time, the hour, the 2 hours, to play and to find the different aspects of their sexual persona, to be witnessed being strong and confidently in their, in this case, masculine, and having a trophy, having a go-to that will remind them of that part of themselves, that part that they keep locked and trapped away most of the time. In a way, it was liberated through the session and can't be put back in because there is a real record of it.
Yeah, and when he will feel weak or someone will put him down on the life, put him down on the situation, or anything would happen and he would not perform, I can tell you how our brain works. As soon as he got that data, it's an evidence. And no matter what will happen with his erection, his brain understands that he is capable of going to that goal and going to that size and going to that how to say challenge,
Yeah.
and he can just go back in 10 years to those recordings and understand, fuck, I did this, i
Yeah.
i can do this, I made it happen. Okay. And his brain, even if he has condition, okay, if it's clinical, not necessarily mental, right? No, you don't know what happens on the way. I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm just telling you in my how I'm sharing this information in my head, how it is that even if he will develop any kind of condition which be related to his not ego not able to perform his penis size and stuff, erection things and issues, he will be able to restore his health and his sexual body and size because it's been proven and the data is in there in the computer. So the brain, like you say, subconscious mind will get him back into that state through time, very quick recovery. So that's why it is important for them, because majority of men, I'll touch another problem, maybe it's too much on one session, but majority of them are saying with the photo shoot of erection in my studio, in the same way they're saying goodbye to it. And they doing a photo shoot and they saying to me that soon I'm not gonna have it. Can you imagine this?
Wow.
Yes, because they think in their head that they will get old and they will lose direction. And
Oh.
there is a lot of course, there is a lot of how to say situation when it did happen. Then when people are not able to perform, what you don't know about this crisis of when the men have this head spin around 40, 50 years old, and then and every wife will say, oh, this is this crisis, he's living from, because he's afraid that he's, losing his masculinity and he's losing his erection, so he would do crazy shit, in his life. So that's the thing, why woman needs to encourage to do that, so they will have this proof on the camera, and they are performing fine, absolutely fine as a couple in front of, how to say, I don't know, me. Okay, what to say? It's me in front of the stranger. Okay, but they performing absolutely fine, and I am there to record this, and there is no other excuse. Okay, because what the women are texting me, oh, he's not able, probably down to his age. I was like, how old are you? She's like, I'm 45, and how old is your husband? The same. Like, the fuck, okay. Down to his age already,
Of course not. Yeah.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not, but men have this in mind,
Yeah.
that he is, doing this, how to say, because you know what happens? They're getting old. They see that they're getting old, okay? You may be having a younger clients. I am shooting mature people, and they are witnessing this, okay? With every day, the skin is getting soggy, the fat is coming in, those pockets are poking out from everywhere, the chin is hanging, the eyes are, with wrinkles and stuff. That's the type of clients I have. So they see that is happening, okay? They see that this is a reality.
Yes, but my oldest client was probably like 65, had a great erection.
No, I'm not saying it's a must. I'm just saying it's a myth.
Yeah. Yes,
I'm
it's a
saying
myth.
it's a myth they're
Yeah.
living and
Yeah.
they're looking forward to.
Yes. A myth that they prove to themselves.
No, I think not to themselves. I think there was so many proof around that
Okay.
they don't need to prove anything, okay? And we don't live with men talking about direction around, okay? The only thing where I know is in my studio. I don't go, around my friends and saying, are you still holding the erection? No, it's fine, everything with your erection? No, I'm not.
I do.
You do? I'm saying good cop and bad cop, Okay, no, I'm not asking anyone about the erection. It's enough me, talking and chatting at my work. Okay, but what I'm saying is, so we are on that way to actually provide the information
Yeah.
and help them to get out of it. And you know what is important? That everyone is able to do this now. As soon as they get hands of this on this information, they're
Yes.
able to fix themselves, at least help themselves, or put themselves at least in some kind of normal state. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that they're gonna be, sex gods now, but we can I help them, because we speak about this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, babes. I think thank you so much for today.
Thank
Okay,
you.
and it was amazing to talk to you. See, we connect. That's why I took you to my studio. People constantly want to come to my studio, and no, seriously, because there is, first of all, there is no one like me.
Mm.
Second of all, they're looking for something explicit and something what is out of the limit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they struggle because there is no one like me. Then second of all is that they want to go into this field and try a real thing, like a real thing. And then again, someone who's doing something like me, they're not gonna take them. You hard to find them, and in general, no one is like that out there, right? And to have this experience, you need to have an actual sexual thing in the studio. Shooting erotica is not shooting, what the other people shooting, They create this illusion. I've started from illusion myself in the studio, but I've realized that with the illusion, you do the fuck nothing, what is this illusion, I'm fed up of this illusion. I want to go deep and see what happens with people, because as soon as you remove the clothes and tell them to do stuff, the illusion gone. And then what? It starts thinking. It starts thinking, then the face is this, and I'm saying, what are you thinking about? You're just touching yourself. What are you thinking about? Why your face is like this? And they're telling what they're thinking. And different kind of shit,
Mm.
because of their past, because that information was coming in during that situation, and those situations what we have, it's totally different situations to everywhere else, you know.
Mm. Yeah.
And in general, photographers do not have qualifications to actually lead that client through this experience
Mm.
because it's not photography.
Mm.
Okay, it is not. That's why they do want to go in and interfere and go deeper, you know. That
Mm.
is why how to say, someone shooting with certain models, you know, like
Mm.
certain people, certain models. It's not like general public, because if you just invite everyone, you will have a house, everyone will come with different kind of problems.
Mm.
Okay, so it's very limited everywhere, you know. And that's why in the adult, or if you see the porn, right, there are two types of porn. One is a homemade porn, which is people doing by themselves and posting, selling, whatever. And there is another porn which is with models.
Mm.
Okay. Did you see a porn agency, like filming agency, who will say, "Oh, everyone come in, come in," yeah, and stuff? No, they are actually selecting models. Okay,
Yeah, very carefully.
yeah, to do that, to match their brand, to there are a lot of requirements. So that,
Mm.
and that's why my studio doesn't do models. They do models only for that reason, because the couples need help, couples need
Mm.
stimulation, and
Mm.
singles struggle to create that sexual energy by
Mm.
themselves. They need someone to touch them,
Mm.
and it's not me. You know, it's not like I'm against this. It's just I can't. You know, it's too. If you understand what the photography is,
Yeah.
the how to say, I can't sit on with one ass on two chairs.
Yeah.
It's just proven, you know, that you need to, or you creating art, okay, or you down there with the client,
Yeah.
okay, and you know how to say, and that's it. So everyone who needs that, they need more than, you know,
Mm.
hand on the shoulder, okay.
Mm.
Let's leave it on that note. What they need, what they need. Okay, thank you so much for chatting, and
Thank you,
I
Julie.
hope we will make this as a habit, and just bring that information out there. You will have a
Yeah.
list of your clients and experiences and pain points, and I will come up as well with that theme,
Yeah.
supporting that sexuality and supporting that work on people's discoveries.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
because I have experience.
Mm.
I'm not talking from my side. I have my own experience, but I'm talking about the public who is visiting my studio. That's the
Yeah.
most important experience which pushed me
Mm.
towards this, because they just start complaining. They just start
Mm.
telling me this. They just
Mm.
you know, people who come to my studio, they will tell me their problems in first 15 minutes.
Mm.
Mm, mm. Probably they want to tell someone and they don't know to whom.
Mm.
You know, so they tell me, and then I realize actually I need to help them all,
Mm.
you know. So thank you for today. You look lovely. I like your hair. Next time, tell me about your hairstyle. Oh, the earrings. I was going to put hoops, but I thought no, I'll be just simple. I don't know, something is on my face. It feels like my hair, you know. So thank you so much for everyone who will be watching. We will check this video
Yeah.
and
Thank
we'll
you.
see how it is popular later. During the few weeks time, we will see the views.
Mm.
Okay, I'll just try to how to say, to put certain keywords which help people to find it, and if it's going well, then we will just create some audience on that topic, right? Which will help,
Amazing.
yeah, which will help people. You
Yeah.
know,
That's what this
will
is
help
all
people
about.
to understand.
Freeing,
You know.
yeah, freeing people to their sexuality.
Exactly. That's it. Say bye to everyone.
Bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
I'm switching off.